Alright, hello everyone. This is going to be my quick little tutorial on how to set up my AutosaveFix DLL that I have developed myself for LEGO Star Wars the video game. It is a very easy setup, and I will show two methods on how to do it. One of them being you can just set it directly up through Special K, since most people use Special K to run the game, but you can also do it, and the way I recommend doing it actually is using Ultimate ASI Loader. Since you can actually run the game completely bare without any additional setup ahead of that using DXWin, Special K, and none of that. And you can actually use this with Special K anyways, as it will not conflict with anything. So it's ultimately the method I recommend above all. But I will show how to do both. And they're both extremely simple. I will have links in the description for everything you will need, including the link to the GitHub here, and two links for my AutosaveFix DLL. One of them will be 1.2, the other one will be 1.1. For the Ultimate ASI Loader version, you must use the 1.2 version. 1.1 might work slightly better for the Special Case setup version, but you can also use 1.2 for it. I've just found 1.1 might work slightly better. That's just based off my experience, but they should both be perfectly fine. All you need to know is that you must use 1.2 for Ultimate ASI Loader. 1.1 will be just fine for just a regular Special Case setup. Also, a quick important note, you may need to disable your antivirus when downloading the AutosaveFix DLL. 1.2. 1.1 is usually okay, but I still would recommend doing it just in case, because sometimes Windows decides to flag things like that. It's pretty annoying, but for 1.2 specifically, it annoys me quite a bit. So yeah, I'm just going to do that real quick. Windows Security, Virus and Threat Protections, Manage Settings, Real-Time Protection, turn that off. And now that's disabled for now, and you will be good to go for the rest of the tutorial. And at the end of the tutorial, we will actually create an exclusion to make sure that it does not conflict at all. Alright, with that all said and done, I'll be showing you how to set up the AutosaveFix DLL for LEGO Star Wars the video game. I'll be showing you the Ultimate ASI Loader version first, and then after that I'll show you how you can set it up through Special K only, if you prefer to do it that way. But anyways, from here on the Ultimate ASI Loader GitHub page, you will need to download Import.8.dll. So you just click that, and it'll download the zip file that contains it. And of course, for Ultimate ASI Loader, you must download the 1.2 version. So you just, with the link, you download it from there. It'll download the zip file that contains it as well. And that's all you really need to download. For the next few steps, I'm just going to bring this all to my desktop to make it a little bit easier to show off what I'm doing. Alright, and right here on my desktop, I have the two things I downloaded that we need to set this up. So before I unzip those or anything like that, I'm just going to open the directory folder to LEGO Star Wars. I'm just going to leave that right here. That'll just make it very clear what I'm doing. First thing we're going to do is unzip dinput8. You can probably use extract all right here, but I'm just going to use 7-zip. Extract to dinput8. I'll create a file here. Let's open that. And we're going to drag the dinput8.dll directly into the directory file for LEGO Star Wars. Just put that in there, give it permission. And that's it for that. You can delete this, and you can delete the zip file for dinput8. Next thing we'll have to do, of course, is to unzip the 1.2 DLL. Got it right here. Now before we drag this into the directory, we will have to create an additional folder in our directory that will be labeled scripts. You just create that, leave it in there. It must be spelled with a capital S. And then you just drag your AutosaveFix.dll into the scripts folder, give it permission. Alright, and the next extremely important step actually is to open up our scripts folder, and we actually are going to rename our AutosaveFix DLL to say .asi, because our dinput8 named DLL here will pick up ASI scripts in the scripts folder here. So we're gonna rename it here, and it's gonna type ASI. Continue. And with that, the entire setup should be done. So to test this, what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna connect my controller, and we're gonna boot up the game completely bare, as is. Alright, right now I'm just booting up the game, and we're gonna test to see if it works. Alright, I just paused for a second to fix my OBS so it could view properly. Alright, anyways, the first thing we're going to do to test to make sure our DLL is now working is by going into Options, setting Autosave to Off, and opening a new game. After loading through the cutscene, we're going to use the shop and its save feature to test if our DLL is actually working. So we're just going to collect some studs. Let's get some studs here. That should be fine. We're gonna buy a character, Gonk Droid in this case. Gonna exit out. It will prompt us to save, which we will do to test. And after that, we're gonna test it once more by buying PK Droid. And if it prompts us again to save, then you'll know if your DLL is working. So exit out of this, and it asks us to save again. Here you go. With that, that means your toggle right here is now functional, and the DLL is working. Alright, this will be the second way on how to set up the AutosaveFix DLL for LEGO Star Wars. This one is Special K specific, and only works when you run the game through Special K, as it uses the configuration file that comes with Special K when you set that up. So the only thing you need for this is the 1.1.zip. You can use the 1.2 version of the AutosaveFix DLL if you want, but 1.1 I find slightly more reliable for the Special K setup version of the setup, so I'll just recommend you use this one for this in this case. We're just going to download that, and that'll be downloaded, and once again I'm going to take this to my desktop and show you how I set it up in my directory folder for LEGO Star Wars the video game. Alright, I have the download right here, and I'm gonna open up my directory folder for LEGO Star Wars and just leave that right here. This is extremely simple to set up. All you need to do is extract this. You can probably use the extract all function here, but I'm just gonna use 7-zip again. Extracted that here. I'm just going to drag this. You just drag the DLL directly into the directory of LEGO Star Wars. And then you just leave that there. We only have to do one more step after this, which is actually to open Special K. I'm actually just going to delete these real quick. I'm going to open Special K, as administrator preferably. Once you have this open, assuming you have Special K already set up using Coolestos tutorial or something like that, which I highly recommend as that's how I play the game, you're going to right click your application for LEGO Star Wars. You're going to go under Browse. You're going to go to the side down to Configuration and click that. That will open your .ini file for your Special K setup of this game. Now, you can kind of ignore everything that's in here. All you need to do is scroll to the very bottom. And once you're here, you're just going to make a space again, and we're going to add something down here. Once again, in the description down below, I will have something you can copy and paste directly into there. It's actually this. I'll just leave this in the description for you to copy and paste directly here, as this is all you need to do for this to work in Special K. Once you have that, you can click X, prompt you to save, so press save. And I do recommend you opening this one more time just to make sure it has saved, because it has been weird to me before and decided to not save for no reason. So just go down to the bottom again, and it has saved right here, so we should be good. And that is actually all you need to do to set this up through Special K. Now with that all done, we're just going to test the game to see if the DLL is injecting and working properly in the game as it should. So I'm just going to hit play. Connected my controller. Alright, and we have the game open. And now we're just going to do the same exact steps as I showed in the previous method, but if you didn't watch that, I'll just show you how to do it now. The first thing you need to do is go into options and make sure your toggle for autosave is set to off. You can back out of this, and then I recommend you start a new game. You can load a file, but starting a new game is very easy and quick to just test the save function and see if it works. We will be using the shop in this case. We're just going to collect some studs. Ooh, there's a lot there. Alright, we're going to go to the shop now. We're going to go to characters, and we're going to buy one of these two characters, because once you do that, it'll prompt you to save once you exit. We're going to buy a Gong Droid. Exit, it'll prompt you to save. That's normal. We're going to do that. And now is the actual part of the test where you see if it works. We're going to go back to the shop again, buy another character, and exit out again. And if it prompts you one more time to save, that means you know it works. And just like that, it is prompting me to save once again, which means our DLL is working and running just as it should. Alright, and if you have finished setting up your DLL fix, no matter how you set it up, we can now turn back on our virus and threat protection, but we will need to do one last step just to create an exclusion for our game directory. That way, no issues will ever pursue in the future if Windows Security decides to flag the DLL or anything about it at all in the future, because then it'll automatically remove it from your computer. So how we do this is by entering virus and threat protection. You go into Manage Settings under Virus and Threat Protection Settings. You scroll to the very bottom where it says Exclusions. You click Add or Remove Exclusions. Give it permission to enter. You add an exclusion, and we're going to make it a folder. And with this, it'll open this little window here where you need to find your game directory for a LEGO Star Wars game right here. And this is the folder you want to select. It'll create an exclusion for that, and that will remove any potential issues or anything like that virus related with the DLLs. After that, you can just go back into Virus and Threat Protection, click Manage Settings, and you can just turn on Real-Time Protection, and you are 100% done with either method how you set this up. With the tutorial completely done, I'm just going to quickly talk about what this Autosave patch even is and what it does. If you don't know already, the way this game was released was kind of half-assed, and the autosave toggle here that is in the options menu literally just does nothing. If you go in here, you'll just see it right here at the top, and they must have rushed its production or something, because it literally does nothing. Every time you load a new game or load a save file, autosave will always be on no matter what you have this on. Set to on or off, it'll always be on in the game hex files. For example, when you load a new game, once you save one time, from then on out, autosave will always be on, no matter what this toggle is set to. So with this patch, that allows this toggle to actually work, and it allows you to manually save if you have it set to off. And since my AutosaveFix DLL patch only modifies how this toggle works, that means you should technically be able to still do runs on the speedrun.com leaderboard if the autosave toggle right here is set to on, as this makes the game run completely normal, as if nothing was ever changed or modified at all. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope it was nice and easy for everyone to set up, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.